is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. All eyes on Wall Street and President Trump's tariffs. The market's closing down again late today, with President Trump now escalating his trade war against China. His sweeping tariffs on 60 countries going into effect tonight, and real tension now among some of the president's top advisors, now playing out in public. Elon Musk calling the president's top trade advisor dumber than a sack of bricks. And Republican senators on the Hill today asking serious questions about this tariff strategy. One asking, whose throat do I get to choke if this is wrong? The Dow dropping another 320 points today, down more than 4,500 points since the tariffs were announced. The S&P 500 down 79 points today. The Nasdaq down 335 points, more than 2% today alone. President Trump tonight saying trade negotiations with some countries are happening. On social media saying a high-level delegation from South Korea is on the way for talks. The White House says Japan is negotiating with the president's Treasury Secretary. Tonight, China refusing to bow. President Trump hit China with 34% tariffs. So China hit back with 34% retaliatory tariffs. President Trump telling China to drop that retaliation, if not hitting them with another major tariff at midnight tonight. This would effectively be a 104% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. from China starting tonight. We're with home builders here in the U.S. this evening and what they say this will do to the cost of building a home and buying one here in the U.S. ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott leading us off tonight from the White House.
Tonight, with the financial markets all closing down, President Trump forging ahead with his massive tariffs, ratcheting up his trade war with one of America's largest trading partners, China. A steep 104% tariff on all Chinese products imported to the U.S. set to go into effect at midnight. China accusing the U.S. of bullying after President Trump last week imposed an additional 34% tariff on Chinese goods. China then retaliating with a 34% tariff on all American products. The president then raising the stakes, warning if China didn't back down by noon today, he would increase the tax on everything that comes into this country from China to 104%. But China refused, saying it would not give in to blackmail. Wall Street reeling, the Dow dropping another 320 points today. It has lost 4,579 points since President Trump announced his massive tariffs last week, down 10% in 4 days. On Capitol Hill, Republican senators who rarely break from Trump now feeling the pressure from companies and constituents back home.
This is creating some anxiety, this current tariff posture among some of my constituents.
I'm hoping and I hope you and the president are very sensitive about companies potentially going bankrupt by these actions.
Whose throat do I get to choke if this proves to be wrong?
Tonight, the president saying trade negotiations with some countries are happening. China wasn't one of them.
Right now, Japan is flying here to make a deal. South Korea is flying here to make a deal.
And within the White House, the tariffs exposing deep divisions among some of the president's closest aides. Elon Musk attacking trade advisor Peter Navarro as a moron who's dumber than a sack of bricks, speaking out in support of free trade with Europe.
Both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America.
Navarro swiping back at Musk, saying his Tesla cars are built with foreign parts.
Elon's a car manufacturer, but he's not a car manufacturer. He's a car assembler.
The White House trying to downplay it all.
Look, these are obviously two individuals who have very different views on trade and on tariffs. Boys will be boys.
But as the White House brushes this off as boys being boys, millions of American families and businesses are already grappling with the real-world effects of the president's trade policies. In Potomac, Maryland, contractor Scott Sailing hopes Washington understands the new tariffs will make it more expensive to build homes and to buy them, showing me that in this American economy, he relies on imported products, from the flooring to the HVAC units.
No, China.
All right, what about the railing here?
That's Canada.
Looking up, seeing the metal brackets.
The metal brackets, also China.
Nearly everything that it requires to build this home is made somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
He says his costs are already rising because of the president's tariffs, and that means the cost of the price of the homes he builds will go up too.
We've got anywhere from a 5 to 20% increase on our roofing materials, lumber materials, and metal.
And
so it's already here.
Those tariffs, you'll just pass off to your consumers, your customers?
I've got no choice but to.
The president insists that these tariffs will bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States, but that could take years. And that contractor we spoke to says the reality is that these tariffs will make building and buying homes more expensive. And David, in just a few hours, the president's new round of tariffs on roughly 60 countries, including that 104% tariff on Chinese imports, is expected to go into effect. China calling it blackmail. Tonight, there is just no sense when or how this tariff war is going to end, David.
Rachel Scott leading us off from the White House tonight. Rachel, thank you.